I was really just like, this is really happening. I kept saying that to myself. Like, I couldn't believe it.
And then as soon as you get all three Spideys
Yeah.
in a movie,
Yeah.
like this movie was just a great Spider-Man fan movie. Like it's something that you never would think you'd see.
From growing up on, the OG Spidey, which is Toby, right? And then
plot-wise, going into this movie, like to see it was just mind-blowing.
It was just perfect. It was like, even though they brought everybody back, it didn't feel like they lost a step from where they were when they first initially filmed it, man.
But it was just like, this is just the greatest idea ever. Like, this is something everyone wants to see.
And the fact that, like, I just feel like they understood us. Like, I felt like they understood what we thought.
They understood what everyone wanted.
Yeah. I just was like, man, I gotta go see it again. Like, I needed to go see it again.
I really tried to go see it again today.
I mean, y'all see it. Y'all see it. Y'all know why we here today, bro. Y'all know why we here, man. Just got back to the crib from like a five something hour drive. You know what I'm saying? But we here to talk about Spider-Man today. We got a banger of an episode here for you guys today. I'm super excited, bro. Pretty much we finna go crazy. So without further ado, let's get into this episode, man. Welcome back to the Why I'm Geeked show, man. It's episode 47. Episode 47 in the building, man. And I'm geeked, bro. I'm super geeked because Spider-Man's probably like movie of the year. We still got one major movie to come out, but this joint probably the best. But we'll get into that. We'll get into that later on. It's definitely going to be a Spidey focused podcast. So stay tuned. And without further ado, let's jump into the news. All right, y'all. So I don't got that much news to this week because, you know what I'm saying, I know why y'all here, bro. I know. So let's get right to it, man. First things first, we're gonna start with DC, bro, because the rest of it is pretty much a Marvel talk. But I got a couple things. One thing, the DC Blue Beetle movie is no longer going to be on HBO Max. It's only going to have a theater release. So unfortunately, you know what I'm saying, if you're just trying to slide it on HBO Max, you're going to have to go to the theater, which I'm not mad at. I still don't know why they're making a Blue Beetle movie just out of the blue like this. Like, based off of what we've seen in Justice League and the Snyder Cut, you know, it's nothing really there tangible for us to grab onto. And that's one of my issues with DC right now, with the whole universe that they're building. It's just like not a lot of connecting dots, right? So because these characters are, you know, OG, they're classic, like we have some connection to them, but not in the sense of, you know, a whole movie. But they can do a lot of cool stuff with Blue Beetle, so I'm still excited to go see that joint. But that won't be for a cool minute. But, you know, it's dope that by that time, hopefully, like, you know, like theaters will just be like a regular thing again. Cause I love going to the actual movie theaters to go watch stuff. I don't mind watching stuff on HBO Max, you know, because, you know, you save a little bit of bread, but nothing beats that theater experience, you know what I'm saying? So that's dope. And then we also got the Matrix dropping this week. So by the time that you guys are hearing this, it might have already drop. Not actually, it'll drop the day after you guys listen to or watch this. But I'm super excited for that jump. I'm finna do a whole marathon, so definitely expect you know, to give, or for me to give, you know, my thoughts and stuff like that on Wednesday show before the movie comes out, just because, you know, I haven't watched the whole thing in a long time. Like, I've just watched it on TV like here and there. So, you know, I'm excited to see how it all plays out, you know what I'm saying? So I'll give y'all updates as I'm watching this joint. But I'm super excited for that joint. It's the last big movie of the year. Of a year of great movies, bro. A lot of good stuff that came out this year. But the last thing, man. Spider-Man went stupid in the box office. I mean, like, stupid. Like, record-setting numbers. I don't know if, like, they dropped the official numbers just yet as far as, like, you know, where it stands as far as, like, how much it actually reached for the first weekend. I haven't seen that yet. But they probably still counting the numbers, bro, because that joint went crazy. And you know what? We might as well get into it right now, bro, because I got the homie Chris waiting in the Discord call so we can talk about Spider-Man. I told y'all I was bringing this to you. You know what I'm saying? Y'all liked when we did the last collab on what was that? Eternals. So, you know what I'm saying? I had to bring my boy back for another one, another Marvel movie. So without further ado, man, let's get into the weekly recap. Alright, what's good, Chris? You ready to do this, Brody?
Yeah, I'm ready. I'm hyped. As you see, I got the Spider-Man jacket on. I'm ready to talk about Spider-Man No Way Home.
Oh, man. I'm already ready to cry. It's like, no, I'm playing. But, bro, this movie was crazy, bro. We went to go see that joint opening night. It was a little late, but, man, I was wide awake when we left. You know what I'm saying? Because that joint definitely went crazy. So, to start off, I'm curious to just see, like, what your, like, overall thoughts of the movie, like, just, like, face value. Like, what did you think?
Oh, okay. Face value.
Yeah.
I mean, I was kind of nervous what they were gonna do. First of all, when I heard the title "No Way Home,"
right?
Like that was such a big spectacle, and then we saw the villains, and that was just a huge spectacle. And this is spoiler.
We spoiled. Right? Yeah, we spoiled.
And then as soon as you get all three Spideys in a movie, like this movie was just a great Spider-Man fan movie. Like it's something that you never would think you'd see, and it was just the biggest spectacle ever to see, because that's just a perfect word for it. You get all the best villains, or at least all of Spidey's main villains. Right. You get all the villains from the movie. So if you ever watch the Spider-Man movie and you liked one of them, you're gonna love this movie. Yeah. And then you get every single Spider-Man. Yeah. And also it feels like a nice wrap up for each of the Spider-Man, I don't know, franchises in one movie.
A lot of closure. We got a lot of closure.
Yeah, closure. It was great.
For sure.
What did you think about it? Because I know someone in the movie just be geeking the whole movie. Just every little scene just be geeking in the corner. I'll be like,
yo, I'm gonna be real, bro. I was nervous just like you. Like before we went to go see it, like we was talking about it. Before he was like, yo, you ready? Like, you ready to go? You ready to go see it? And I was like, I'm ready. But like, once I knew people were actually watching the movie, I got anxious. Like, I got nervous. I was like, man, I hope it's good. And I just made sure I stayed off of all social media because I wanted to have that whole, like, holistic experience. And that's what I got when I went to the movie theater. Like, every moment, you know, usually, like, people be like, kind of upset when you got people cheering and stuff like that during the movie. Like, nah, like we was all in it. Like we was immersed in what we were watching, bro. It was so freaking crazy. Like for me, it exceeded my expectations, honestly, because like I expected to see what we saw, but I didn't expect to feel the way I felt like after leaving, bro. Like I just felt like it was like just open. Like I just felt like everything just was right. Like it was like balance within the force. That's the best way I can describe it, bro. Because I was really just like, this is really happening. I kept saying that to myself. Like I couldn't believe it. And you know, like from growing up on, you know, the OG Spidey, which is Toby, right? And then, you know, thinking about just like where I was at while I was watching those first initial movies, and like all the little things that, you know, you never really forget, but like as soon as you like see it happen again, it's like, yo, nostalgia, like crazy nostalgia. You know, like the perfect example for me was when Doc Ock was like, hello Peter. Like I loved that moment, bro, because it was just perfect. It was like, even though like, you know, they brought everybody back, it didn't feel like they lost a step from where they were when they first initially filmed it, man. And I just was like, man, I gotta go see it again. Like I needed to go see it again.
I really tried to go see it again today. I tried to. So I'm definitely gonna have to see it again.
Yeah, and I need them to figure out this streaming situation, so I don't have to buy every single additional movie. Like, I just want to be able to go through them all, because that's one thing that I feel like Marvel has like really like dropped the ball on like over the years. It's just the Spider-Man franchise, because of Sony and whatever deal that they made back in the day before they knew like Spider-Man and superhero movies finna go crazy like they are now. Like, I feel like, as from a fan perspective, like we're missing those moments, in when we want to do a marathon, right? Like, we'll get glimpses of Spidey in Endgame and Infinity War and Civil War and things like that, but I want to be able to like watch all those things like back to back to back to back, so I can get the full like
especially
feeling.
now with this movie. Like, this movie, after watching it, you kind of want to go back and like reevaluate like the OG, like the very first Spider-Man movie, and then also give the Amazing Spider-Man franchise like another chance, at least to like
I never saw the second one. I never did.
Wow, really?
I never did, because it looked whack.
Oh man,
I know.
There's a huge scene in that moment that like makes this movie even like
that's what I'm saying.
1,000 times better. Like,
that's what I'm saying. But it's
crazy.
I've seen the first one, and I know what happened in the thing. Like, I've seen all this stuff already on YouTube, like after those movies came out. But I never, like, when it initially came out, I didn't go see it. You know what I'm saying? And so I didn't have that same, like, I was like, oh man, I know this is going crazy, like, for everybody else. But it still went crazy because I felt it, right? Because I know what happened. I seen it. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, that's really good to feel, because you know that. Definitely because it's Marvel and was it Sony? Like, this whole Spider-Man deal was them merging together to say, okay, we'll let you do a Spider-Man movie in the MCU,
right?
Because that was originally with like the whole Civil War stuff. They really wanted Spidey. They're like, come on, we gotta give up Spidey.
Right.
Like, oh, okay, let's see, and like finally we got the 3 movies, but like I said, the wrap up for all the movies, it just makes those Sony movies feel so much better. So I'm glad to hear that you still appreciated it, even though you didn't even like finish off some of those franchises. Like,
I mean, I only didn't see one movie. Like, I just didn't see the Jamie Foxx one. I saw the first initial amazing one, but
for example, what's his name, Electro, and the whole Gwen Stacy scene. Those are 2 very like important things, because they really redo Electro in a perfect way.
Yeah, for sure.
And then the main scene, or the main like climax of the Amazing Spider-Man gets like redeemed, or I don't know, whatever we want. It just makes it his whole canon, his whole story, his whole arc just perfect. Like,
he finally did it.
Yeah, it's like Marvel came in there and cleaned up their mess. Like, beautiful.
Yeah, because when Gwen Stacy, when I saw that she actually died, I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, no way that happened, right? And then in the actual No Way Home, I was like, ain't no way gonna let MJ go out like this. Like, we done seen this before. I'm not ready for this, bruh. And they had him have his moment, and I feel like all of them had like really dope moments. And I feel like, to me, the most pivotal one was definitely the Andrew Garfield scene. I think that was probably the best one, like, as far as those closure moments. I was ready to cry like at least like 3 times throughout. I didn't shed no thug tears though, but you know what I'm saying, like, when it comes down to it, man, they definitely did their thing. So
and real quick, and about that closure moment, it's amazing, because I remember seeing that movie, and you never got a 3rd one. It's only 2 movies,
right? Yeah.
So to see it get closed in another Spider-Man movie, it was like, wow, this was beautiful. It was crazy. Yeah,
and the fact that, like, I just feel like they understood us. Like, I felt like they understood like what we thought.
They understood what everyone wanted.
Yeah, they understood what everybody wanted. Understood like what everybody thought about those movies, because with Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man, like, in this movie, he was like, he had a lot of like self-deprecating humor, right? Which was like funny, right? But it was just like, dang, like, if he really felt like this, that sucks, right? Because it's like, dang, he know like how everybody felt about the second one.
He knows the truth,
right? and whether he was like making jokes on himself or like just making little sly remarks, I liked how like everybody else like bigged him up. You know what I'm saying? Like they really felt like they were
especially
the same
the OG
person.
Spider.
Yeah.
Like, Toby was like, "Hey man, you know you cool. You."
Right.
He said like you're amazing or something.
Yeah. He said he was amazing. And I was like, oh my gosh, bruh, that's crazy.
That's great.
But I guess like to start off, man, like what was your favorite fight? What was your favorite fight?
I mean, to me, the fight with Green Goblin.
You think?
Honestly, I really like the Green Goblin fight, the first one when they're in the apartment, because it just showed how tough Goblin was.
Right.
Like this dude, I don't know why he looked even buffer.
Yeah.
Like he was beating Peter into the ground. I was like, oh, Green Goblin really go like that? Like he was crazy.
And I forgot he had super strength.
Yeah, exactly. Because the thing is like super. Like and it really showed because when we think about it, Peter beats Doctor Strange, and we see how strong Peter Parker is. You always kind of wonder how strong is he, and now we see how strong the Green Goblin. The Green Goblin is just meant to be feared. Like this dude is strong.
Yeah, for sure. And I think like one thing that was pivotal, like for me, for Tom Holland Spider-Man, was the fact that like, you know, like they, or not even just Tom Holland, but they announced that like, yo, like anytime they fight anybody, they're pulling their punches, because they, at the end of the day, they don't want to end up killing that person, right? They want to, you know, be the person that saves everybody. You know what I'm saying? So to see that happen and just like, you know, have Tom Holland have his little rage moment, I think that was cool. But personally, my favorite fight was a Doctor Strange fight, because I love the mirror dimension. Like I just like all the different possibilities that you know, you can really see, because I feel like in that moment we got to see like Peter's true genius, right? From like, you know, not even knowing that he can do the things that he was doing. You know what I'm saying? Like how do you beat Doctor Strange, somebody that, you know, can bend reality? You know what I'm saying? In a sense, like, and take you somewhere completely different and has all the control in this dimension. You know what I mean? It's just like, I think it was hilarious when he actually like, you know, split Peter from his actual like body and had him in like the I forgot what it's called, but like his little like, floaty state, Casper.
Yeah.
You know?
Casper.
But he was still trying to get the box, and like his spidey sense just allowed him to continue, just, you know, you can't touch me. That was hilarious. That was I was so like, yo, this is fire. Like I was like, this is going crazy. And I think like as far as everything else, one thing I did wish, you know, that it's not necessarily a knock, but like when it comes to the fights, I wanted to see more like individual like things that separate each Spider-Man, right? Because one thing that, you know, they said during like the final fight was that like for the most part, you know, both Toby and Andrew's Spider-Man, they only worked by themselves, right? They never really worked in a team. And that was when Tom Holland was able to, you know, become the leader that we all want him to be in the MCU eventually, right? And start, you know, calling the plays and things like that. But I wanted to see like more iconic moments that, you know, each character had, where I feel like, especially for Andrew Garfield's character, like whenever he fought up against the Lizard, right? And, you know, in the first Amazing Spider-Man, and he like wrapped him up like as like in web, but he like crawled around his body as a spider. That's like super unique, right? We never seen that before. So I would love to see you know, something like that within it. And then maybe for Toby, you know, him using the environment to his advantage and things like that, because, you know, I think that would have been a cool thing to see. That's pretty much my only like, I don't even want to call it a gripe, but like that's my only like critique as far as like what actually happened, because, you know, everything else was like flawless. Like they was fighting, like slow-mo was going crazy, you know what I'm saying? And I think that they ended up working well together. It took them a little bit to get their synergy, but I just wish they had like a little bit of like I wanted them to have their like signature skills, I guess you could say. They talked about it like how Toby doesn't even need web shooters. I forgot about that. I didn't even think about that. Like,
yeah, I think they kind of took the approach of kind of like our Peter is like the math wizard.
Yeah.
Like he understands like that type of technology type stuff. And then we have the Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
His is like science. Like
right.
he knew how to like cure the stuff. And then like to me, Toby's one is kind of like he doesn't need the web shooter type thing, but he was more like the mature, like older, more grounded one. But like what's
and
really
experience too.
Yeah, the experienced one.
Yeah.
But like what makes it amazing with Tom Holland's Spider-Man is kind of like he is the one that was on the Avengers. Like these other two Spider-Mans in their universe, there are no Avengers. So him saying like, oh yeah, like I was part of the Avengers, I know how to work on a team.
Yeah.
It made him the leader. Like just like it's like his movies. Like he's the leading Spider-Man. He is like the Spider-Man.
Right. That's facts.
So like it's cool to see like the different types of Spider-Mans, but also that our Spider-Man or our current Spider-Man, our home trilogy Spider-Man is like the de facto leader once you get all of them together.
Yeah, that was super dope. Yeah. I guess at this point you want to get into like some plot stuff.
I'm down with anything, man. I mean, I'm still hyped. I can't wait to see the movie again. So
that's facts. All right, so what did you think of like the initial like premise for the movie and like what happened?
So I remember I'm gonna say a story. I remember when they had like this interview in Far From Home, and this guy kind of said this plot, like, "Hey, is there any possible way after Far From Home? I know it's all about these dimensional beings coming out and attacking." This is before the movie came out, and he was saying like, "Is there a possibility that there'll be a dimensional multiverse where all the Spider-Mans come together and fight together?"
Yeah.
And I remember seeing that, and then the internet kind of grabbed that too and was like, this has to be a movie one day.
Yeah.
And I wasn't positive it was going to be this movie.
Right.
But it was just like, this is just the greatest idea ever. Like, this is something everyone wants to see.
Yeah.
So, like, plot-wise, going into this movie, like, to see it was just mind-blowing. Because now we have it, which means, like, we don't have to wait for another movie or like they did it and now we're on to bigger and better things already. It's just like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
They planned this before Far From Home.
Right.
Like it.
And that's why I felt like what I was saying earlier. I was like, yo, like when I left the movie, like I felt like full. I felt like there's nothing else for me to really want. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's like, to have Miles Morales, that'd be cool, but we already got, Spideyverse. So I don't know how if they were to do that that'd be dope. But it's not necessarily like, yo, like this is what I need, right? Because it has its own whole other thing.
And what's kind of cool? After watching this movie, it kind of has that feeling of like of closure with Spider-Man, that kind of like when you watch all the Marvel movies and it leads up to Infinity War and Endgame, you get that type of closure. Yeah, it's just like you feel it both. You feel full from the Spider-Man universe, right? And now you're kind of just waiting on like, okay, well, going forward, we're not going to be seeing like the same thing potentially. So it's like, oh, what's next? Right. But like you feel satisfied, like you said, you feel full from watching this movie. It's great. It's one of the best movies I've seen.
Yeah, for sure. And I think that, from a plot standpoint, as far as like the initial premise for just this whole thing starting, I think it was just interesting that, the way that they set up him getting his identity revealed, right? Like, it was the most, you can't fix this situation at all. Yeah. Right? And it made sense with the times that we're in, right? They used literally social media to blow that thing up. And we started off like they had J. Jonah Jameson, right, talking about it, and he was in his bedroom on a green screen. Like it looked like he was just like streaming like how we're streaming right now, right?
Glow up.
You know, like he was right. So he finally got his shine. He finally got his actual show, and I think it was just crazy to see, like, you know, like what it would really look like, you know, if everybody knew who Spider-Man was in real life. Like as far as, you know, the title for the movie.
Bro, you know what I realized?
What?
You're like 1,000. We saw J. Jonah Jameson like be like a small time like streamer type person.
Yeah.
Go up to have his own little studio.
Mm-hmm.
But now going forward, based on the ending, like he probably owns now like his own network.
Yeah.
But no one knows who Spider-Man is again. So it's literally just like
just
Spider-Man's
like the OG
origin.
Yeah.
But we also saw that dude's origin story.
Right.
That's crazy. I didn't even think of it.
The wrap ups.
Something going on.
The wrap ups is crazy, but so like I think that was cool. I think like getting to see how, you know, Peter like dealt with it, along with how the people around him suffered. Because like for me, I think as far as Tom Holland Spider-Man, before going into this, I feel like he hasn't really had the chance to deal with his own issues. I feel like everything that's happened to him has been pretty much like internal, but nothing like external. As far as like, you know, loss other than Tony has really like, you know, shook him up. And then we haven't really, this was our first time seeing something like pretty much like after that, right? After that moment. So, that was one thing I was definitely looking for, and we definitely got that within this movie. And then also just little things like for, you know, little plot points of things that will happen for the future of the MCU. So I was right. We got our Daredevil, you know, insert or clip or whatever that what's his name? Charlie Cox is going to be Daredevil for the foreseeable future. But, you know, he got Peter out of a jam initially, you know, because at this point he was still not even, you know, 18 yet. So like he got out on a technicality, right? But just seeing Matthew Murdock in a Spider-Man movie just opened up New York so much, right? Because now we have not only this, but also we got, you know, Hawkeye, we have, you know, She-Hulk. We have a lot of stuff going down in New York specifically, right? So I think I think we're in such a good spot, you know. I really do like to see some really like innovative, not only just stories, but just having really dope experiences, man.
And think about it, we have so many like plot points to go to now with Marvel.
Yeah.
And I mean, clearly they have this mapped out, but like also we still have the whole Loki ending with what's his name?
Kang.
Kang, so he can pop in anytime. Spider-Man can pop in anytime.
Right.
Like we're in a really nice spot going forward into Multiverse of Madness.
Yeah, cause like for me, I'm looking for that moment where all of these moments line up, right? Mm-hmm. So we have Loki when Sylvie stabs Kang and opens up the universe. We have Doctor Strange when he's doing the spell and breaks everything open in the like all of the different villains. We saw like, you know, the Rhino. We saw a whole bunch of Scorpion, right? We saw a whole bunch of different. I need to go back to see that specific part again, so I can actually see all of the people that we could have possibly met. But like I want to see all those moments put together in one movie. I don't know what movie that would be, to where we can see like, you know, like it happened directly like after one another. Somebody might have to make a YouTube video of that just to figure out the order, but I just think that's super interesting, and I'm waiting for go ahead.
Well, I wanted to ask you honestly, what did you think about all the villains in this movie? Like all of them being together, because we talked about all the Spideys being together and then fighting Goblin.
Right.
Every single villain. Like, what'd you think of him?
Okay, so I guess I'll start with the Goblin. So I think he is the perfect villain. Like,
Nice.
I think that his character and just like what I was hoping for, like I was saying earlier, how um it felt like it was just yesterday, like that we saw him, right? Like in those moments, and I was super surprised how I felt that way because I remember watching the original Spider-Man movie, and being scared of Green Goblin, like literally terrified, right? You
Like
hear
his
that
voice
laugh,
and his
yes,
mannerisms. Yeah, man.
and just how it switched, like how it
Yeah.
literally switched, bro. And you can see it happen on screen as well, right? Like when they initially got to the apartment, and he just slowly buying his time, to where he can finally take advantage. What's going on, team? I know you guys are enjoying the video right now, but I want to let you guys know that not only are we making videos like this every day, Monday through Friday here on YouTube, but we're streaming on Twitch. We're having these conversations. I want to see you guys in the chat so we can talk about all this stuff live, man. We got a dope community over there, and I would love you guys to join. So check out the Twitch stream, twitch.tv/Ginato Sensei. Link is in the description. Yeah, and I'll see y'all in the chat. Back to the video. Now, I think villain for some of these characters is a little strong of a word, because some of them just was not even really villains, right? So like Sandman was probably like the most disappointing character out of him, but he was kind of like a low character in the original Spider-Man movies anyway. I think I think Jamie Foxx definitely held it down for Electro. He was he did a lot better than I thought he would do initially, like after seeing what they did in Amazing Spider-Man 2. And what else? With the Lizard, he was just bad from the like he had no wavering in like his ideals, right? Which is, it makes sense for like the type of mind.
Trying to make everyone lizards.
Yeah, like he was just with that the whole time. Like he didn't care
the whole time.
You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't care about getting fixed or any of that, right? But it was like everything was almost perfect, and then it happened, right? Green Goblin Awakens, and I think that the villains, like I think the initial like I didn't talk about Doc Ock, but I think the initial like introduction to them was like just a flash from the past for sure, and it brought back that same nostalgia feel. But we got to see these characters grow along with it, right? So seeing Doc Ock be able to actually finesse Green Goblin in the end, right? I was like, oh, this is going crazy. And I was like, I was hoping to see that because, Dr. Octavius was, Peter's mentor.
Yeah.
Right? So it's just like, they had a relationship prior to this. And I think it was interesting to see that, like, none of them had memories of dying. Like, because that was one of the things that I was like, and going into this movie, I was like, man, how are they going to do this? Like, bring all these villains here when they're all dead already? And I think one of the coolest things was like, coolest realizations was when I realized, like, there was only going to be 4, right? Initially, with the Sinister Six, like, there's the 4 that we got, and then there's the Vulture, and
there
Mysterio.
were 5, but it was cool because the 6th one was Venom, but Venom was stuck on the island or whatever. Talking about trying to grasp the idea of the Avengers and them getting blipped. And
that was funny.
The whole movie.
But he did leave a symbiote behind. He did leave a piece of himself.
That's interesting what that could lead to. But I just had to know what you thought of the each individual villain, because like, I mean, that was just such a big part about this movie, that the fact that they brought all the villains back together and sort of tried to do them better. Yeah,
like they filled out their character arc and what they were.
Yeah, because you don't really get that with villains. Like, fill out their character.
Right.
You kind of just, the bad guy beats them type thing.
Yeah. But that was like also like one of my biggest gripes with just Marvel and period, period when it comes to villain, how they treat villains, is because they do it differently than what happened on TV, right? On TV, you always have, like, well, for the most part, if you got a good show, you're always going to have another episode. You're always going to have another season, another opportunity to bring that character back and build upon their story. But with a lot of Marvel movies, especially Spider-Man movies, the villain always ends up dying. And like in the TV show or the comics, right, they always have a second chance to come back to actually, quote unquote, finish what they started or whatever. But for if they do stuff like this, I don't know any other instance where this kind of works other than in the Spideyverse. But to be able to bring these villains and have them get more development and see them change and possibly even go further off the deep end, I think that's pretty dope for sure. So what do you think of like just the overall performances of the Spider-Man, like from an acting standpoint? Like, who was your favorite?
I think you nailed it on the hammer. It kind of felt like from Tobey to like Tobey's character, he feels like the original Spider-Man. The way he delivers his lines, the way he talks about stuff, it seemed just like him. Like we just dragged and dropped him into this universe, and like this is the amazing part of these actors, because even Andrew, what is it,
Garfield? Yep.
Like he seemed exactly the same. What was that, like 6, 7 years, 8 years ago?
Yeah, it was a while. It was a while.
Yeah,
like,
and it's like as soon as he took off his mask and was like doing all this stuff, oh my god, this is temporal, blah blah blah. Like it looked exactly like I don't know how these actors do it, but they just get in this mode and it's like boom, this is perfect. And that goes for also like we talked about Green Goblin, like he got in that mode immediately. Doc Ock got in that mode. Electro, they switched him up to make him better.
Right.
But it's just amazing how these main characters, they just immediately flip the switch. And to me, I think the Amazing Spider-Man did the best job of coming back and being fresher, just being as
he had the most room to grow though.
Yeah, and
he had the most room to grow.
It really showed that he. Like, maybe I need to go back and watch The Amazing Spider-Mans, because it seemed like on the screen, like, he was great.
Yeah.
And every scene he was in, he was very great. Like you said, he had made those jokes about him not being, like, the
coolest.
I'm the third Spider-Man, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But, like, even, like you said, he had the most to grow, and even the scene of him saving MJ, like, everything about that second Spider-Man was amazing to see just come back fresh. Brand new and back on screen. So I think he just knocked it out of the park.
Yeah. I think this
who'd you think was best?
I think this is Tom's best performance, bro. Because I think with Andrew Garfield, like, he had a layup. You know what I'm saying? Like, he could only go up, right? Because I feel like with Andrew Garfield's movies, he like, I feel like everything around him kind of failed him. Right, it wasn't necessarily like
villains.
Yeah, like it wasn't necessarily like his fault that his movies weren't that great, right?
And you can even see it in this movie. Like, think about it. The two best villains in this movie were Green Goblin and Doc Ock.
The original, yeah, exactly.
The Lizard and Electro, it's not even close.
Yeah, it's not. So, yeah. So, but I think Tom's character. Definitely was the best. Because for me, I never I was like, man, like Tom Holland looks like he should be Spider-Man, right? He has like the most, to me, like accurate description of like what high school Peter Parker is supposed to look like, right? And he has the good wit and he's funny and like all of his jokes land and stuff like that. But it's just like I never got that like emotion from him, right? He never had that like major, like he didn't lose Uncle Ben. You know what I'm saying? Like Ben wasn't there, right? Like, and he just continued to push forward, right? But our first initial loss was more so with Iron Man, but with Iron Man, I didn't feel like super bad for Peter, because it's like, I lost Iron Man. You know what I'm saying? Forget what Peter Parker talking about. Like, I've been watching Iron Man forever. You know what I'm saying? For that Robert Downey Jr.'s Iron Man forever. And like before this movie came out, I was already talking like, yo, like, we can recast Tom Holland easy, for a time skip Spidey, right? But I think for me, he showed the most growth as from an emotional standpoint as like an actor that had me like, yo, like, okay, you got my respect, right? Because, we've seen him cry
clearly
before.
number one
Yeah.
Spidey.
Yeah,
Clearly.
like we've seen him cry before, right? We've seen him be scared, but we never seen him truly just hurt as much as he did. Hurt when he lost Aunt May, bro. So like when that happened, bro, I was like, oh my god, like, and just how everybody like embraced him, and also like how it took a lot for him to actually like change as far as like just how he felt about the whole situation, right? It took it took Toby getting stabbed to really like open his eyes. You know what I'm saying? Like he was
and the fact that those Spidey-Mans kind of told him like, oh, that's what my Uncle Ben told me
right
before he died. Like he
right
kind of felt like
yep.
He had these people with him through this hard time.
Yeah,
Because this really was one of the darker movies compared to all of the home trilogy series. Like this one was way darker. So like, Tom Holland delivered like a great dark one, and then especially when we saw them go rage mode.
Yeah.
Oh man,
He wasn't holding back.
And even those Spideys were like they understood it.
Yeah,
but they were like, we gotta go
right
help them.
Yeah, see, like I don't think practically, right? I don't think practically Toby had to get stabbed, right? He could have just swung over there and took the jet out of what's the name hand, but he had to look him in his eyes, right, to see. And like when this is a sidetrack, but whenever Andrew was like, yo, like, where are you gonna fight? You can't go out there dressed like a youth pastor. And those was the vibes that I was getting from Toby. Like he just felt like super calm and chill and just like, yo, like, I do this, right? And I just think like
back and everything, like
like I was super surprised and just Tom Holland's maturity when it came to like just the decisions that he was making too, because this whole thing started because MJ and Ned couldn't get into college. I mean they were trying to go to MIT, right? But it's like no college was accepting them, right? But that was their dream to have it, right? And initially, whenever he was letting them know that like, yo, like y'all about to forget me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it was like, make sure you come back and get me. That was sad. I felt bad. That was the only time I felt bad for Tom Holland and MJ. That's the only time. But
yeah, to be honest, that was like their best scene out of the entire trilogy because they're like getting together is kind of like weird, but like the payoff in that scene is like, dang, I feel bad, bro.
Yep. And like, just imagine like not only losing your girl, but now you're losing your best friend too. Like
no way home,
bro. Like, but I just was like, bro, like, no way, I just wouldn't say nothing to Ned. You know what I'm saying? Like he didn't say anything. He just looked at him and walked out. I was like, dang, that took a lot to do that, bro. Cause I couldn't do that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, but one thing about just the No Way Home thing and how this all started, you got to be real specific when it comes to magic, bro. Especially like space magic, where it's like dimensional.
We're gonna see the consequences with this, cause honestly, even throughout the film, you kind of wonder like, Doctor Strange, are you even thinking?
Right.
And like he's not even the Sorcerer Supreme, which everyone
thought
he was.
That's what I was getting to. Yeah.
Leading into it, but like, dude, you're really gonna perform this spell on like the world and just be like, hey, it is what it is. We do magic over here.
Yeah.
Like
he cleared the sorcery.
There's gotta be consequences. Like there has to be.
Yeah. And like when I found out that he wasn't even Sorcerer Supreme, like those are the moments where I'll be wondering like, how is it just Doctor Strange trying to fight back? Like I know Wong is doing something, right? And I think it has something to do with Shang-Chi, but I know he left and like he was just like, all right, man, you know what you're doing. Like you can handle this. Ain't got nothing. This is none of my business. I'm gonna go ahead and head up out of here. But he's been the Sorcerer Supreme for the last 5 years since the blip, right? Since Doctor Strange.
It's probably like training new sorcerers, right? At that point.
Yeah, because we did see like little apprentices here and there, but
because in the Doctor Strange movie, like the bad guy like is going to the temples, killing the sorcerers, and then like the guy that was helping Doctor Strange and Wong, he ends up going around the world and is killing sorcerers. So it's kind of like maybe Wong was training new ones, so they didn't really have anyone else to like help Strange or whatever. But it's kind of weird, like you said.
Yeah, it's kind of weird because all they need to do is open the portal. That's all they gotta do, and they could just step right through there. You know,
very true.
Like I mean, my man's Nick could do it, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I know.
So, it's,
come on.
Like it's just like okay, I guess, you know.
I guess.
But
those Marvel don't see what just happened. You know,
right?
Does magic, boom.
Yeah.
Let's move on.
So what else? What else is there to talk about? I mean, it's so much that it's like even escaping me at this moment.
It's great. Tom Holland did great. Zendaya did great. Yeah. I can't remember that is actor's name, but he did great.
I can't not see bald.
That Goblin performance is amazing.
Yeah, all I was saying is I can't not see him being bald now. That like he just. Oh
yeah.
He just has the hair.
Seeing it cause
he just has the hair from the movie. Like that's a little strange. I guess we could talk about the end credits. So. Ooh. All right. So, first initial one, right? What was it?
The first one was Venom.
It was Venom. Oh yeah, because the second one was Doctor Strange, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I was getting that confused with the coffee shop, but so first one is Venom. Now we see him. I think he was in Mexico, or I don't remember where he was.
Yeah, I don't know.
He was on some island, but it wasn't like super far from the U.S. I don't think. But you know, if you've seen Venom 2, that's where he ends up at the end of that movie, and basically he's getting a rundown of what it's like to be in this universe because obviously you know he got blipped over here, and I was wondering where he was at. You know what I'm saying? Like I just it was so much other stuff going on.
It was like, are you coming in at any point?
Yeah.
Come on, Norm, be like,
exactly.
Spidey.
right. Because like at the end of Venom, he's like, I know, like he was like that guy, like he licked the TV, and I was like, oh my gosh, like he's infatuated with him, right? Because Venom has the hive mind, and he remembers, you know.
Well, I was gonna ask you. So remember in Venom, Let There Be Carnage. Yeah. That was an end credit scene in which he got teleported to the MCU.
Right.
But remember, before he got teleported, they were talking about like, oh, I'm a symbiote. Symbiote, and we have all this knowledge of all these billions of years, and if I even told you a fraction of it, it would like blow your mind. He's like, oh yeah, go ahead and tell me, and then boom, they get teleported over.
Yeah.
Just for this end credit scene.
Right.
For him to learn about this MCU and then leave behind a part of that symbiote. So it's kind of like, does that in turn mean that like whatever happens with that symbiote, like they know who Spider-Man is, they have all that knowledge within this MCU? Because I mean, technically in the MCU there is no symbiote, but now there is. So now this universe is connected to the hive mind of.
Right. So like
whatever you want to call them.
Right. Yeah. So I think that when it comes to like the symbiotes and like whoever is the host for Venom, I think it just depends on like what's your reality at this moment, right? So I think that when Eddie goes back, he'll still remember what happened. When he was in the Marvel MCU. I think he's going to go back to New York, but I don't know who he's going to meet there. Like I don't know which Spider-Man is going to be there, because initially what I had thought, like when they got blipped, I thought it was a result of Kang getting killed, right? But we saw that it was the same blip as the rest of when everybody was going back. So.
But you know what I realized, because Tom Holland was talking about like he'd love to continue it.
Yeah.
Like because Fox owns Spidey or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Like with them dropping that little bit of symbiote in it, they also do the Venom movies. So now, does this give like Marvel a way to make a new Spider-Man and a new Venom if they just buy out those products now? Do you know what I mean? Because it's like you don't have to bring like the way they imported those old Spider-Mans from those Sony movies into this the MCU. Like now they have an easy way to like let in a symbiote into this movie. But like you have to still use that actor. Like it's a new universe, blah blah blah. It's a new Venom. Blah,
well,
like,
I think it's gonna be Flash. I think it's
Flash.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be Flash.
Oh, I mean, you just talk to the people there. Explain this one. Explain this one. I'm gonna just sit.
So I think that the Venom universe or whatever. I think when Eddie goes back, I think he is going to probably meet Andrew, because that'll give him an opportunity to have a third movie. But I don't know. I don't know who he could end up meeting. I think Venom is going to be its own little thing, but I think that this symbiote is going to it'll end up meeting with Flash, because we don't have a Flash Venom yet, right? We have Eddie Brock, but we don't have a Flash, and then we have it wasn't Flash in the original one, was it? No. So yeah, so I think it could be Flash, because we haven't had that. But based off of how the Venom movies were, like all you have to do is get in somebody's body and then take their body to, airport, and then they go over to Wichita, because that infatuation is not going to go away, right? Like he knows he has to go to New York. Now, how that would...
Do you think the next movie would just be a Venom movie for Spidey, and they're just planting the seeds for it?
I think the next Spidey movie is going to be a combo. So like I don't think they're going to do any more like solo movies from like after the trilogy.
Yeah, what about the pretty much like the symbiote, like the what they put in the end credit scenes? Like, what do you think that leads to?
I don't know. I don't know. I just think like it would make sense for it to be Flash, because that's who we have. Like he wants to be Spider-Man's best friend. Like,
okay, but if it leads to Flash, are you saying it's just leading to him latching the Flash and then bring Venom along as a character?
Yeah, I think
somehow.
Yeah, like I think that's how we get a
Venom. A fourth Spider-Man movie, or no? Like
maybe not
just a Secret Wars. There's just Venom also on the screen.
Yeah, like I think more so like Venom will just appear in the MCU more often rather than it being a whole Spider-Man movie. I don't know what the next Spider-Man would be at this point, but I think it will be in combination with another movie. I think we'll have to wait and see where things end up after, like, Multiverse Madness and things like that. But like, because that was my whole thing with when I was talking about how Tom Holland was like, if I'm still playing Spider-Man at the age of 30, then I did something wrong. Like, I think that was more of a political move so that he can get that next contract signed up. So like,
yeah, but and that's what I'm saying. Like, and now the way Marvel did it is they pretty much rebooted Spider-Man, in which they could just pick a new Spidey in the future. Right. And they could pick a new Venom in the future, because it's kind of like, we don't have to do Venom now, we don't have to do Spidey now, because we got all these movies lined up anyway. Yeah. But because we have Sony's like rights to use their people right now, let's go ahead and place an easy way to get a symbiote here instead of doing like another meteor crash. People will know, hey, Venom is already in the universe somehow, and then
that's what I'm saying.
Like, pretty much based on the end of this movie, like Spider-Man's reboot, no one knows who Spider-Man is at all. Right. He's just in New York being a friendly neighborhood Spider-Man, and he's no longer affiliated with Avengers, no longer affiliated with Stark Tech. Like no affiliation at all. So
it's just him. And
so like the symbiote could be just MCU's way of saying like, okay, now we have a plot point that we can use, and we'll just wait to like buy out your stuff. Just give us the thing, and we'll drop the movie.
Yeah, because I think It'll probably have to be like a time skip moment, because there's talks of, like, they could already have started production on the fourth one somehow. Like, I've seen that on different places, but I don't know, bro. I don't know. That's why, like, when I left out the movie, I just felt like it. Not that it was over, but I felt like just the possibilities are endless, because my one of my biggest things I've been talking about, like, a lot, was just seeing, what we saw at the end of this movie when Spider-Man, like, became the leader and things like that. But, like, also, like, seeing him get really proficient at being Spider-Man. Like, now he doesn't have to worry about any baggage, right? Because he done lost everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, even Happy, and now he can literally just focus on being Spider-Man. Like, he about to get his GED, all this other stuff. Like, he might even, start working for the Bugle or something. Like, like, we don't really know. But
it's a perfect way of Marvel continuing their movies without anyone questioning, like, where is Spider-Man? Like, like, where is Venom? Like, literally, like, this point, it doesn't matter. They're just waiting. Like, they're playing real life politics by saying we're waiting for the IP,
right?
While also moving forward the MCU, where everyone's like, "Dang, I wish Spider-Man was here. Dang, I wish Spider-Man was here." Like, dang, you just keep it going. You bring in more MCU characters, and you're just like, "Hey, Sony, you either give us another deal so we can throw Spider-Man and Venom back in this, or we're just gonna keep it moving."
Yeah, because I think the only other closest thing we can get to a symbiote is that sword and from Eternals with Jon Snow. That's the only other thing.
They could do like the symbiote leader or whatever.
Yeah.
In MCU now without using Venom. Like that.
Right.
That could just be it. Like they're trying to like use everything around Venom because Sony is already using Venom, and they're gonna use everything around Spidey because Sony's still saying no, we're not giving up until eventually they're like, yo, we need this money because that Spider-Man, that Spider-Man paycheck was nice. That was I felt good about that. Like,
because I'm gonna be hurt if they try to reboot it again and start all the way over at high school.
Essentially, that's where we're at. No, because they pretty much put him in the blue suit, the red and blue one.
Right.
So he's now pretty much Tobey's Spider-Man.
Yeah, like he's getting to that age. Yeah. So that's what I would hope, right? But
it's like, I just hope it's Tom Holland.
Because he's good. He's definitely good. If it was somebody, it'd definitely be weird if somebody else. They'll have to be literally like a clone of him, right? But one thing that I just wanted to bring up that I thought was crazy, but I forget that this is movies, right? We're talking about movies right now. Is like how every time this man Tom Holland took off his mask, bro, his hair was perfect.
Yeah, true.
Like, I noticed that. I was like, bro, that is literally insane. Like, how does that happen? Like, he doesn't have. That's something else. But let's see. Do I got anything else?
You got the last
Oh yeah. So the
Multiverse Madness.
Yeah. So we got a whole trailer, which is something I wasn't expecting. This looks insane. I'm gonna be real. We saw how Wanda get introduced. Right. She's no longer in New Jersey anymore, and they brought that up immediately. Like, so, but she knew that's where she needed to be, which is something I'm interested in. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of WandaVision, we had her studying what was it called? Dark Hole?
Darkhold.
Darkhold, yeah. She was studying the Darkhold, and she heard her kids' voices, and now she's probably looking for answers, right? Now that we know that Doctor Strange is no longer the Sorcerer Supreme, how much, like, wiggle room is he really going to have? Because at this point, Wong is just the babysitter, and he can only do so much while Wong is, doing the regular Sorcerer Supreme stuff, right? So,
and Wong told him not to do it, so it's kind of like, is he going to get, like, a slap on the wrist or something?
Right. I mean, but what can he do? That's my question.
Well, that's the thing. Based on the trailer, clearly he needs Wanda's help to fix something wrong in the multiverse.
Well, I'm more so saying, like, what can Wong do to Doctor Strange?
What do you mean? He's the Sorcerer Supreme at this point, though.
Yeah, but
it's
like,
kind of
what
like
power?
If you're the Sorcerer Supreme and your student goes out of bounds.
Yeah, but I'm saying like feet wise, what can like so can Wong go into the mirror dimension? Can Wong
Probably, yeah.
like I know, but I'm saying
He's
like
not supposed to do it.
what could he do to actually discipline
But yeah,
him?
so
That's
based
what I'm
on the
asking.
trailer, all we know is like clearly he needs Wanda's help to fix something. So it's kind of
Yeah.
like if Wong's the Sorcerer Supreme, he's probably saying like, "Dude, I told you not to mess with that thing. Now this is messed
Yeah.
up. You need to fix it," or like just
So you
straight
think he's
up.
gonna get sent out on a mission to fix it?
Well, to me, based on the last Doctor Strange movie,
Yeah.
the bad actor sorcerer is killing off any sorcerers because
Mm-hmm.
they're using magic in a bad way. And
Right.
clearly Doctor Strange used magic to help a teenager
Yeah.
just forget that people know his identity.
Oh, okay. So you're saying because he did that, now he's on the list.
Yeah, and like
Oh, okay.
maybe he
Yeah.
just
I didn't get that.
attacks
Okay.
Wong's facility,
Right.
murders some people, and then Doctor
Right.
Strange's like, "Oh my God, I need another sorcerer to help me out because now
Yeah.
Wong is in trouble." Blah blah blah. But it's
Right.
kind of like we know that Source or Doctor Strange isn't the Sorcerer Supreme, so probably the dude is
Yeah.
kind of like,
He's just
"You
another
sorcerers are
wizard.
just out of line.
Mm-hmm.
Like, what
Yeah.
what is happening? You're the Sorcerer Supreme, and you let this dude
Yeah.
do forget me magic on the whole world to help out a little kid. You knew it, like."
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's kind of like the dude's whole point that these sorcerers are using this magic for
Selfish
like
reasons. Yeah.
selfish reasons, and that essentially that is a selfish reason.
Right.
But
Yeah. And also, Wanda is the definition of selfish. So it makes sense that they would work together in this one because that gives them, like I need you and you need me, right? To she probably needs Doctor Strange's help to like navigate, right? Or maybe like from Doctor Strange's standpoint, like he's not as powerful as he was before, or doesn't have access, so he's gonna need Wanda's help, right? Now.
and we saw what's it called the bad Doctor Strange
Oh yeah.
uh
I don't know
what's
what
it
you would
called?
call him. Evil. Evil
He's
Doctor
like
Strange. But yeah, so we saw him and we saw what he could do in What If. So I was just like, yo, like if this is a alternate reality, and we also know how like duplicates work as far as like seeing yourself. Strange Supreme, yeah. So
yeah.
we've seen Cat fight Cap, right? So it's not like going to be a big thing for them to end up fighting each other. But yeah, I think that's the more so thing that I'm excited for, because I feel like with Doctor Strange movies, I feel like people like initially like I didn't see it because I thought it was gonna be whack, right? Initially, right? But then I saw it on Netflix and I saw it on Disney Plus and stuff when it came out. But like I'm more interested in just not only what he can do, but like where he can go. You know what I'm saying? Like because with not only Doctor Strange and Wanda, but with the Darkhold, that's gonna send us somewhere super dope. I think.
Well, I definitely think, I mean, the Wanda aspect of it is just a completely, they can go any direction. We don't know what Wanda's going to do. We don't know what the Darkhold is actually going to play into it. But the fact that we have Strange Supreme versus Doctor Strange, it just shows how important like these like what if and side projects on Disney Plus like WandaVision are to the MCU now. Because we were kind of a little worried like, are these just like side pieces or like what are they called in animes? Filler arcs? Yeah. Just to like give them something and then just bring them back as the normal character. But no, like these are like serious stuff. We got if you go in and watch the What If episode with Strange Supreme, that's his entire origin story.
Yeah.
So now when you bring him into the real movie, like you're ready to go. You know everything. You know this dude, straight up demon man. And he got all the moves. He can trap people in what is it called?
The little
pocket
prisms.
dimensions.
Yeah.
He knows all about that. Like
yeah,
it's incredible. So like we're gonna get Doctor Strange, no Eye of Agamotto versus Strange Supreme, who clearly is gonna be strong as ever. So I guess maybe that's why Strange needs Wanda because Wanda's probably the next strongest being.
Not only is she the next strongest being, but she's also a Nexus being. So they don't have to worry about.
No way Strange knows that, right?
I think he does. I think he does. So? Yeah, because if you think about it, it's like, yo, why would he ask her, other than like he knowing that she's powerful, but also like knowing that they don't have to worry about fighting another Wanda. You know what I'm saying? Like with everybody else, there could be multiple versions of them out there, or
Very
there
true.
are multiple versions of them. So, like, I think because of that, and also like just her being in tune with what's going on in just that space, like in the sorcerer space or whatever, and being able to feel those things and understand, like, as she's learning more about her powers, I think she's gonna not only be just drawn to it, but it's just like, it's just gonna be like, okay, boom, like, all right, we on the same page, like, let's go do this. Like, I didn't know you were gonna be here, but I'm glad you are, because that's kind of like the energy I got from it, because it looked like Wanda was at the little house for a cool little minute, right?
Yeah,
but
she's growing flowers or something like that, picking daisies.
Right. So like when he actually pulls up and he's like, "Oh, you're already here," I was just like, "Oh, okay, we finna get into something." But I'm super excited for.
Great to see a whole trailer at the end of the movie. That was satisfying as ever.
They need to keep doing that. I like that. I like that, bruh. Because like with a lot of these Marvel movies that have been coming out, like the end credit scenes, because these are a lot of more introductory movies. Like, it's not a lot that we can take away, because a lot of these joints aren't really connected, like at the hip, right? So like,
we were like, when we saw the movie, we were complaining that there weren't even like any type of like movie trailers.
Yeah, and then we get it.
And then it's like, oh dang, we just watched a great movie, and it's like, this is what's coming up next.
Yeah.
Like, oh,
that's a new meta.
God.
That's a new meta.
Yeah, they changed up the formula. Like,
yeah.
Good job, Marvel. You're doing great.
Yeah.
Take my money, steal it.
Not steal it. But yeah, man, I think that about covers it, bro. For
great
Spider-Man No Way Home. Let me know when you about to go see that joint again. I'm gonna go.
We can go. I mean, I may see it like super early or just like late with the family before.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's like something.
But, yeah, but
incredible. Everyone go see that movie.
Freaking fire, bro. Do you have a rating?
Oh, my rating? I give it a 9 out of 10. It's great. 9 out of 10? It's definitely the best Spider-Man movie out of them all.
Okay.
Like, hands down. I just can't. I can't get with anyone saying it's not. Oh, well, actually, you know what? I'm gonna contradict myself. I still think Into the Spideyverse is the best movie. I need to rewatch it.
I'm with that.
I still think it's the best movie, but like live action Spider-Man, this one tops. But it's a great movie, and if you liked any single Spider-Man movie before, even just one, like, this movie is just great. It's just great.
Yeah. So I agree with you with like this Into the Spider-Verse, because like for me, I think that's more so like it just touches me different. Pause. Like, yeah, but it's just like it hits different, because it's just like, yo, like, that's Miles, bro. Like, we ain't seen it, and it's just a great story. And all y'all know how I feel about Miles Morales Spider-Man, but I definitely think it's the best Spider-Man we done got. I think it's definitely movie of the year. Only thing other that could maybe, I don't think, but possibly have a chance is Matrix. That's the last big hitter, but I don't think it'll be better. I'm gonna be real. I don't know how you can top, like, it's too much nostalgia, like the Matrix nostalgia is different than.
Yeah, we'll see. Cause I mean, I don't know how they're even remaking Matrix 4 or whatever you call it.
Resurrections, yeah.
Yeah, so.
But
see.
Yeah, I'm giving it a 98 out of 100. I do the
hundreds, yeah.
100 scale. And the only reason why it's a 98 and not 100 is because of what I said earlier, with like just wanting to see different styles and just see them stand out as individuals more, even though it's just like a team effort. And I take that for 2 Spider-Man, so 2 points off. But really, it's not. It's a perfect movie though, really though. But That's pretty much it for the weekly recap. We have nothing else that I really watched this week. This is the only thing that matters, bro. And we'll catch up, before the New Year's out. But last thing, man. We got the filler arc. And it's only one thing, Chris. I'm gonna have you stay on for this part because it's just one thing. You know what I'm saying? Then we're gonna close the podcast out, right? So, okay. On my journey back to the crib. Oh, first, actually, let's get into the filler arc. All right. So on my way back to the crib, right? These long drives, coming from Charlotte. That joint was a minute, right? And I had a great idea that I'm super excited about. That's going to actually, be something that carries on, and it's going to be like a yearly thing, and I'm super excited to see where it goes. Is the GRWTH Network Awards, right? So we're going to actually, give out not real awards, but acknowledgments, right? So, because we're giving this to movies, and I don't know where to send that type of stuff, but I want to do something not only for the community, but also just like, I give these ratings and I give these scores after every movie and anime and show that I do. So I was just like, man, like I was just looking back at all the movies I had seen this year. I was like, man, I should just make a list, right? So, on New Year's Eve, we'll be doing a special stream. That we're gonna have a whole show. It's gonna be lit. You know what I'm saying? I ain't gonna give too much away, but we're gonna do the best movie of the year and the best anime of the year and the best TV show of the year. And I'm excited for that. We might even have some special guests. I don't know. So we'll see what happens. But it's literally I thought of it today. You know what I'm saying? So I'm excited to do that. I already got, some of the nominations already together. Only thing I'm really waiting on is to see The Matrix. But that'll happen in the next few days. But yeah. And what's dope about it is that not only, is it going to be, my picks and stuff as far as like, some of the nominations and things like that, but you guys are going to have the opportunity to vote on it. So it's going to be a viewer's choice. And we're going to really see what was the best movie, what was the best TV show, what was the best anime of the year, and it's going to be five nominations, and y'all are going to get to vote on Instagram. So if y'all not following my Instagram, definitely go do that. Ginato Sensei XV. And also, we're going to have some stuff, popping up everywhere on all my social media. So that's just going to be dope. I'm super excited about that. Chris, you want to give out your socials before we head out?
Hey, ChrisyLite on everything. Bitcoin boomers, if you want to learn about crypto, and that's it. We're gonna see y'all in the next Marvel Big Bang Marvel movie.
That's right.
Multiverse of Madness. Thank you so much for having me on the podcast yet again.
Yeah, first return guest.
You're killing it, man. I can't wait for the New Year's Eve event, right?
Yeah, New Year's Eve. Yep. New Year's Eve. So it's gonna be super dope. It falls on a Friday too, so it's perfect. Perfect. And it'll be normal stream time, 3:00, so y'all don't have to worry about like missing no parties or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna be quick, concise, and it's gonna be fire. So without further ado, that's pretty much gonna do it for this episode. I appreciate y'all for tuning in. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Follow on Twitch if you want to catch the podcast live. Follow Chris on his links, like we said before. And rate the podcast, man. You know what I'm saying? This is like we're coming up on a year of podcasting, bro. And it's crazy. Like
episode 47.
We're on episode 47, and we're almost at 52. So 52 makes a year, and we're going. It's lit. This podcast has grown so much over just year, right? Like I just started. It feels like I just started it. You know what I'm saying? We're already 47 episodes deep. So I appreciate y'all for tuning in. And I'm going to holler at y'all later, man. Y'all know the vibes. Always keep growing. So going. It's me, your boy G. I'm gone. Peace.
Dang, I know they like that video, bro. That's crazy. I can't wait to see the comment. Whoa, what are you still doing here? Well, since you're here, you might as well hit that like button, hit the subscribe button if you haven't already, because if you didn't, what are we really here for? If you're still here at this point, you probably still want to know and talk more about it. So come through on the Twitch stream, man. Twitch.tv/Ginato Sensei. I want to see you in the chat. Let me know you came from YouTube and we could talk about today's video. Discuss anime, movies, films. Y'all already know what it is, bro. Wait, that's still not it? Oh, I know what it is. You was wondering about this drip right here. Well, you can check that out on IG, Growth Apparel. That's Growth Apparel, GRWTH. It's on the screen right now. So go copy you a tee, man. I'm gonna see y'all in chat. I'm gonna see y'all in these comments. I appreciate y'all once again. Y'all already know I rocks with you, bro. I'm out of here. You still here? Ah, y'all gang.